recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court as reasonable, articulable suspicion of a traffic violation or...
The very definition of traffic, according to Black's Law Dictionary, is commerce, trade, dealing in merchandise, bills, money, and the like. It's very interesting to me that when we use these definitions, and sometimes the Department of Motor Vehicle in certain sections of their code will define the word traffic. But the interesting part is that you're leaving the underlying principles and the underlying natures of the cause of action out of these stops. And when we reference traffic violations, what are we truly referencing? Because a traffic violation is a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter. It's civil. If it was criminal, where's the victim? Where's the violence? Where's the corpus delicti? Where's the mens rea? Where's the actus reus? Where is all that? Yeah, because that's what you have to have under common law. If we operate under common law, but a judge will tell you straight up, we don't operate under common law. What they'll tell you is we operate under statutory law. What is statutory law? It's not referenced in the Constitution for the United States of America. Surely it's not referenced there. Can't find it anywhere. So what is it exactly? Under the Sixth Amendment, I do believe you have the right to know the nature of an action. What is that nature of that cause of action? What is that? Can you tell me, besides saying it's statutory law? And if it is statutory law, how can you impose criminal penalties for civil violations under statutory law? Where's your delegation of authority? Where in the Federal Registry can you do that? Truly, not a judge hasn't been able to answer that. Trust me, I know. I took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and I won because they can't tell you that shit. So you're out here quoting case law as if the Supreme Court of the United States, or the United States Supreme Court, hasn't fundamentally altered the interpretation of the Constitution. And clearly that's the case. I mean, you can look at experts like Randy E. Barnett, a Georgetown University law professor. You can look at Elizabeth Foley, a Yale graduate law student. You can look at all these other people that will clearly tell you that the Supreme Court of the United States has fundamentally altered the constitutional meaning and the intent of it. So you sit here and you defame these people, but you're playing off their ignorance. Or maybe you're ignorant yourself, but don't sit here and pretend like you're doing real research because you read some case law. Shut the fuck up. You're retarded, sir. You are retarded. Just because you read case law doesn't mean a damn fucking thing. You can't even tell me what the law of persons are. It's status and condition, by the way. That's what the law of persons is. Form over substance. You should really look into what that term means. Form over substance. If your form is that you are acting as a sovereign, the paperwork means nothing if you are not acting as a sovereign without subjects. You can't change something that isn't there. For instance, if you go into court and ask, am I a U.S. citizen? Can the prosecutor show cause and give me some proof to bring me in here as a U.S. citizen? Because otherwise, your status has not been changed. You are the ultimate authority of your own life. You are the sovereign. You are not something that they claim you are. And if that is claimed, they must prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's not, there's nothing to change. Unless, of course, you have volunteered some information that can be used against you in the court of law. Otherwise, there is nothing to change. You are inherently sovereign. These are inherent rights, inalienable rights. They cannot be leaned upon. They cannot be charged against you for claiming and using a right. So when people are coming out there and saying, change your status, what status are they talking about? The presumption may be something, but they have to prove that presumption. You don't need to change anything. They need to prove it. Just ask for the proof. That's all that it needs and matters. So please stop using these terms. Change your status. It makes my page look stupid. It makes us as a nation of sovereigns look like idiots when we say these things. And this isn't to come at you particularly. This is to come at everybody who makes these claims. There's a lot of disinformation out there, and we really must read the legal and lawful documents that founded the country and the cases that came right out after it, such as Chisholm versus Georgia. But I digress.
Hold our public servants accountable. It wasn't put there for them to hold me accountable. I'm not a public servant. Citizens, person of residence, on the other hand, they are. But I'm not one of those. So I take my presentment and I send it back to them with their first invoice, net due 30 days. They send me another one. See, I didn't offer to appear in court. I didn't give them that opportunity. So they just magically send me another letter, another presentment that says, oh, we moved your court date back 2 weeks. It's this date. So I take that presentment and I stamp it received and rescissioned, and I send the invoice net due, past due, net due 15 days. Past due, net 15 days. At the end of that 15-day time, I've usually got another presentment in the mail. And it's usually a presentment in the mail that says, don't worry about appearing in court. Just pay the bill. It's $197 plus $15 late fee. And I send them a back. I rescission that and I send it back and I say, seriously past due, 10-day opportunity to cure. Please pay my invoice in 10 days. And he writes it and he hands it to me. And I say, officer, and I get his badge number. And I take the ticket and I stamp my rescission stamps across it. You can do all kinds of great things with rescission stamps. Okay. That's what I do to presentments. I know it sounds funny, doesn't it?
It sounds smart.
But I just put my rescission on the ticket and I mail it back to the court. They send you back that says you have a court date on the 18th. Well, then I rescission that and I attach because they waived their 72-hour period the minute they mailed me something back. I attach my invoice to the presentment that I rescission, and I send them an invoice for 10 grand, net due 30 days. Friday violated my constitutional rights. Under threat of coercion, I could have did it for $75,000, but I'm nice. The increments in the United States Code is 10,000, 75,000, 250,000, 1 million, and life in prison. I love the United States Code. It is my friend. It was put there for one reason only, and that's for we the people. Oh, I'm going to teach you a very valuable lesson this weekend. You can be 100% sovereign, or you can be 100% a slave. If you think you're sovereign and you're somewhere on this line, you're making a claim that you ain't. When you haven't done the steps necessary, those are the guys you see on YouTube. They're screaming that they're sovereign, and not one of them sent an affidavit of repudiation to the Secretary of State and got their passport to reflect that status. I guarantee it. Because people who do, they don't want in court. Because they have limited diplomatic immunity as per the Geneva Convention, they don't want me in the courtroom. They have said, don't bring him in here. He costs us too much money. So I bill my public servants, so sometimes I have to go to Washington State. Every time I go to Washington State, I get pulled over. I offer them my passport. I give them a way out. This is their ticket out. This is the ticket that doesn't cost them a thing. Can I have your driver's license, proof of insurance, and registration, please? I said, is this my opportunity to teach? I said, you know, in the RCW, I have every right to travel and hand you a passport, and I don't need a driver's license. And he said, I want it anyway. Well, that's a little bit of a mistake for him because it just cost him 10 grand.